do a little 2-minute rant, and then we'll take it from there. So measurement and optimization are two separate facets, right? View-through conversions are important, have value, and shouldn't be ignored, just as a billboard does, as you can't measure clicks from a billboard, but you know it's still very likely having an impact on conversion and sales. But view-through conversions are not nearly as incremental as click-through conversions. For guidance or estimate, you can take 10% of view-through conversions and think of them as incremental measurement perspective. However, from an optimization perspective, when we take a look at Meta, we need to consider how the algorithm is optimizing. Every conversion Meta receives influences the next decision that it makes, and we don't want it over-optimizing towards view-through conversions, as these prospects are more likely to be non-incremental versus click-through conversions and could have started their journey elsewhere, right? So this is something that we're doing our best to avoid. Meta's greatest strength is its ability at creating and capturing demand. And I think of creating demand and capturing demand as kind of two different parts of the beginning of the funnel, right? I think of creating demand as when you have an ad that introduces your potential customer to a problem they didn't even know they had and then provides a solution. So that's creating demand. And then there's capturing demand, where kind of Meta acts as almost like Google search, a non-branded search, where you know you have a problem. You may have visited another website to find, and you're kind of maybe getting into the solution. And once you go to that website, it kind of triggers Meta. Oh, they have this problem. They're already in the solution phase. I have all these other advertisers that can also provide a solution. Let me serve them those ads also. And I think you see that happen fairly quickly today. And that's tremendous value there. I think that's where a lot of our low-hanging fruit comes from. And that's where we also have to be careful. Versus fulfilling demand. So that's what makes the platform special. And that's how we want to use the platform. Platforms like Google and Amazon fulfill demand, and let them do that. Don't waste money on Meta and TikTok fulfilling demand. Save that for Google. Even Google, you got to be careful with. We know branded search, and Amazon. Because of this, we need to manually guide the algorithm in decisions that make it by optimizing towards higher click-through revenue. Knowing that the view-through is incremental conversions we make think of them as an added bonus almost. Now, I also understand when it comes to more higher AOV products, there is a value to view-through. Then again, for me, it's all about clicks, because that's how you scale. And this is very important. Most importantly, if you allow the system, Facebook targeting, to be lazy and cheat, it will be lazy and cheat, and will focus on just that lowest hanging fruit. And basically, Advantage Plus to me is a remarketing campaign. Sorry, I don't know what just happened. Are you guys still seeing my screen?
Yeah, we got it. Yes.
Advantage Plus is basically a remarketing campaign that also prospects, right? Because right out of the box, it doesn't, you have to go into a separate place to add your customers and your website visitors. I think it's very problematic. So please think of Advantage Plus that way out of the box if you don't play with it. It's basically a remarketing campaign that also prospects. Again, thank you, Roy. Created this one. And again, just to think about how the algorithm...
Hey, Jake, just hold on. Go back to the last slide.
Sorry. Any questions?
This is amazing. This is your point of view. This is like your bully pulpit, if we can
This is
call it
our point of view.
That's right. Okay, let's pause right there. Let's talk a little bit about the point of view that you're articulating, and a lot of what you're about to say kind of anchors on how you've taken a position about this space, right? Let's talk about the lazy and cheat portion of it. What's the do you want to just unpack that a little bit? Why do you say that?
Yeah, so the system is always seeking the person most likely to convert, that low-hanging fruit. And if you do not, I'll show you how to do it, but if we do not break out these audiences into different campaigns or different, at least, ad sets, it will go for the website visitor or the past customer, and it won't stop. But we don't know this. If we don't completely break up our audiences, we don't know how much money is being spent on website visitors or past customers. And what we've learned from many of your tests, they're most likely to convert anyways. I saw one ad account where they spent $300,000, easily over 100 and maybe 30, 40,000 went to remarketing, right? And that was their profit. They didn't make any money that year. I'm like, there it was. If you just cut that by 80%, they would have converted anyways, and that was your profit for the month. And what happened was they were running a lot of Advantage Plus where they did not exclude website visitors. They thought you're only supposed to exclude customers. And so and then they also had a website visitor campaign. And you could just imagine how much of that money was going towards website visitors. Another thing to think about is frequency, right? If you ever there's a metric within Meta called CPM reach. I don't know. There's CPM and CPM reach. CPM reach is, I think, your true CPM. It's your cost per 1,000 people reached, not ad served. And what will often happen if you do not exclude website visitors, you'll see your CPM reach increase because it's going out to the same people over and over again. Your CPM will seem the same, so you don't think something's wrong. But if you look at CPM reach, that's the one that's skyrocketing because it's going out to the same people over and over again, and it's not going after new people.
Fantastic. So the Advantage Plus campaign, even though you configure it to go after new customers, if you don't exclude site visitors, it's just going to become a remarketing campaign. Is kind of what you're.
I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's why they're thinking, oh, we're seeing such great results. Are you really?
Actually, it's a retargeting campaign.
The other thing which we'll talk about a lot is, and this is something I've been struggling with for years, is Advantage Plus does not allow you to exclude social engagers, right? So I think social engagers is one of the most interesting things when it comes to Meta. It's basically people who've kind of watched your ad or stopped scrolling for 2 seconds on your ad, but didn't take an action beyond that. And now we have the ability to retarget them up to 365 days. The way I view this social engager is, imagine two friends watching TV on the couch. A commercial comes on. It's an interesting commercial. They both have a conversation about the product or service in the commercial, but they don't visit the website or they don't visit the store. Traditionally, that's a great engagement that we could have never done anything about until now. Again, if you stop scrolling on an ad and watch it for 5-6 seconds, but you don't do anything else, I would say, anything over 4 or 5 seconds is of value and we could retarget them. And so what ends up happening is this social engager audience tends to be your largest and most engaged audience. But also the system, unless you break them out, the system will focus on them, and rightfully so. We want them to focus on this audience, but not at the detriment of it going after new audiences. So again, we basically have 3 audiences that the system is going to get drunk on. Past customers, website visitors, and social engagers. We're okay with social engagers, right? But not at a great sacrifice of pushing the system to new users. Any questions?
Can folks give a thumbs up? How many of you guys know about the CPM reach metric on Meta? Not very many. Eli, of course, Eli. Not very many. So that's a great point Jake just brought up, which is, focusing on not CPM, but CPM reach, which is what is the cost of reaching new users. Phenomenal, sort of like for you to like dial in on that. Great, man. Great. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep moving.
Any questions with anything else, specifically the social engagers? How many people here have ever practiced excluding social engagers from prospecting campaigns? And if let's do these thumbs up things.
Yeah.
That or never.
Wow. Nobody.
Into a completely separate ad set or campaign. 365 days, anyone who's engaged Facebook and Instagram, excluding website visitors.
I've done it minimally, but not to the extent that.
Oh, so if anyone's doing a sale, that's the greatest audience for a sale is 365 days, social engagers. That's gonna be your biggest win.
Yeah.
We have a chat. Someone sent a message.
Yeah.
Let me see. I haven't run Facebook for years, but this is so interesting.
So, Jake, there's about 10 Yelp people in the class. Yelp.
Oh, yes.
Think of them as account managers and marketing science people from Yelp in class also. So they're kind of through you, they're looking at the Facebook platform through your eyes. Okay.
Right.
Keep going.
And I have a pretty good visual coming up. So if we don't have any other questions on this or conversations we want to have, we can move on to the next slide. Again, this is just to provide a visual of where we want the system to be. This is why we're spending money on Meta and TikTok, and why I think the stock is finally where it should be, right? You think about it, you really have these 3 audiences. Unaware audience, they don't know they have a problem, educate them, right? We really want the system there. Problem aware, right? They know they have a problem, but they haven't found a solution, and then they're solution aware, right? So this is where we create demand and capture demand. Product aware, most aware, I don't give a shit anymore, right? Just spend a few bucks there, and not even 10% anymore, like 2%. And also, just when it comes to remarketing audiences, you can reverse engineer how much you need to spend. So if you have 5,000 people in your remarketing audience, right, just look at the CPM and the frequency, you can reverse to see how much you can basically need to spend per day to hit each person. I know Madan also likes to do the test where if reach and frequency is a better and lower cost option for remarketing, but don't waste your time there. We do have to hit our customers a certain amount of time. I'm not disputing that, but it costs a lot less than what I'm seeing in most ad accounts. So my conversations with Meta, I basically asked them, what is my option to force the system to New York users? How do I force it there and drive the most incrementality? And they did confirm for me it's to exclude social engagers, right? But there's also a problem with that, because if you think about it, if I'm excluding people who've engaged with my ads, then I could really push the system outwards, right? Because then if even just 30 days or 60 days, if I'm excluding that time span, right, that's a lot of people who's in that audience, and it will force the system outwards. Another great way to kind of push the system outwards is by using whitelisting. Everyone raise your hand if you're familiar with whitelisting or dark. Anyone else? Let's do the digital one. Let me see some hands. Probably one of the most important hacks of 2024. Stop running your ads through your brand handle. You got to use like human faces or magazines. People trust people, not brands. And while it does take a little bit away from brand cachet and value, for the performance marketers, this is the most important thing. They'll definitely have a higher conversion rate. We don't even do tests anymore where we compare a human handle versus the brand handle, because the human handle wins every time. And then you could play around with the conversion attribution window, right, setting, but it's not incremental, but it's different. The audience could be a little different, but I was told it wasn't incremental. Now let's move on to my Frankenstein. All right. Sorry? Becca? No?
Sorry.
Keep going.
No worries. All right. So this is what the ideal ad account structure looks like. I always love to say my favorite quote in life is "Man plan and God laughs," and that's what often happens here. So when we think about our funnel, right, we have upper funnel prospecting. We're doing our best to go after net new customers, right? Then we have middle funnel, which I define as social engagers, right? Those are people who have engaged our ads. They might have stopped scrolling on our ad. They might have came to our Instagram page or our Facebook page, but did not visit the website. Very important to know they did not visit the website. They are in somewhat purgatory, right? Then we have lower funnel, which is remarketing, and then we have retention past customers. So really for this conversation, we're mostly going to focus on the upper and middle funnel. So what I've been doing for many years, and I'm still trying to figure out the art of it, the science of it, because it could be different for every brand, especially based on your average order value or your cost per acquisition. But imagine this: so for prospecting, right, upper funnel, we're going after new customers. Here's just an example of 3 ad sets, right? For creative testing, I'm testing new ads there. I have another creative testing, right? I also have cost cap, which we'll go into, because now there's a lot of conversation around is cost cap incremental, or you're just kind of forcing people that we're going to purchase anyways. Cost cap, for those that you may not be aware, is Facebook kind of gives you this option. I call it an insurance policy, that you put in, hey, I'm willing to spend $50 per customer. And if the system can't find someone for $50 to buy your product, it won't spend your money. It will, but you got to watch it like 2-3 times a day. But eventually, if it can't, it will just stop spending money, right? And we'll save that for a few minutes. When it comes to prospecting, I go broad, right? Let your creative guide the algorithm to the right audience. If you are working with any partners that insists on doing, I'm not the biggest fan of audience testing. There could be some value there, but it's, again, let the creative do it. I'm old school like that. And for this upper funnel, this particular one, obviously I'm going to be excluding all website visitors, because we're going to get them elsewhere. Right, we're going to exclude customers. I recommend everyone do a dynamic audience where you could upload it from your CRM system. No need to constantly upload manual spreadsheets to exclude. Also, when it comes to certain products or where someone might want to buy it after a year, or buy the second or third one a year later, you can kind of set up when it's dynamic to let them back in. Instead of excluding all customers, you could be like, all right, let's just exclude them for the year, something like that. Make it a little easier on everyone. And then social engagers, all right? So this is where the main conversation is, right? Because I want my prospecting campaign to be at, right, this part of the funnel. I always want it targeting these people, right? So as mentioned, the best way to do that is to exclude social engagers, because that's basically everyone who served your ads. Even in TikTok, they just call it impressions, where you can completely exclude everyone who's been served that ad from that ad set. I think Meta is a little different, where there has to be some form of engagement, where TikTok, you could just exclude everyone. So I think the difficulty that I run into is, yes, everyone agrees this is how you force the system outwards to new audiences, but it also takes away from learnings, right? Because if we're constantly kicking them out, unless they purchase within a 7-day window or within a few days, the ads that we're testing in this campaign are not going to learn, right? So that is what I struggle with, is kind of figuring out how much should I, or how long should I exclude them, right? Because I want to accomplish two things. I want to constantly go after new customers, but I need the system to learn. I want to see if these ads are able to actually capture these customers at the beginning part of the funnel. So that's where I recommend, or that's where I personally I used to do like 60 days excluding social engagers. Now I'm down to like 5 to 7 days to kind of capture the best of both worlds, where the ads that I'm testing are learning, and I'm pushing the system to go after new people. Any